Here we go, y'all. One. Red 1. White 3. White! Yeah, I played ball. I tore my ACL. I was gonna go play for Germany, but I didn't want to start in the starters league. So what happened was I moved, had a couple of small jobs, but wanted to stay around the field of basketball. So didn't want to be a coach, like the kids, but take too long to teach them how to learn the game. So instead of just teaching them how to learn the game, I just show them what's right and wrong, which as an official. So basically, I'm like the judge, the teacher, the student, and still being the referee at the same time and enjoy what I love. Red 1, hold. Grab by the jersey.
He grabbed my jersey.
Guys, you gotta relax, all right? That's the last time I'm gonna let you know that. You would like to enjoy the game as a fan, but you have to stay in tune because guys is smart, guys are getting faster. Kids who are 15 are about 6'7" now, so those are the ideal height of kids nowadays, and you have to keep up with the speed. So it's fun, but at the same time, you have to be firm and be sure of what you're doing. You asking me to penalize him with your knee out. You didn't put your knee out? Just let me know if you didn't. Slide out. It's high school, not pro. If a kid gets pushed behind his back, a lot of kids say over the back. That's no rule. There's no such thing as over the back. It's called a push. So I have to know the rules more than the players do, because if they know more than me, then there's no reason for me to be on the court. But I let him go because it was, but he didn't hurt the kid.
Well, he
and
pushed him out of the air.
the ball wasn't here. If it was here, if it was up here, I would have given him the flagrant. But of course, the ball was here and it went up. I could have sold it. I could have sold it.
I would agree with you if you'd have gave him flagrant 2, because he was in the motion and he was in the air. He's unprotected. Right. Unprotected shooter automatically flagrant.
Right.
2. That's why I would have given. I wouldn't be mad at that.
Okay. After the game was over, Mom came up to me and she said, "Here, use my glasses." So I laughed because at the end of the day, I call it therapy for people. It's therapy. You know, parents think their kids are the next LeBron or Chris Paul, and the kids believe it, and they dream that they're going to be the next player. So my job is to make sure they do the game, they play the game the right way, because it's not about me at the end of the day, it's about the kids. So if the kids perform well, it makes me look good. I was going to say, don't let the coach, tell the coach if you're over here, don't count down, because he tried.
Oh, yeah, I was going to tell him that.
Because I felt, even though he counted down, the kid shot the ball, it could have been, it's called pregame. So it prepares us to not be shocked on what's going to happen. So we're more prepared knowing if the kid is, or men's, girls, doesn't matter. If the kid is, we know if like the kid is 6'7" and he's the biggest kid on the court, he might get a little leeway, meaning some guys might be a little physical on him and he can just play through it. Or another kid might be a little clumsy. We got to be mindful that he might do a lot of walking. So we go through the pregame ritual every game, doesn't matter what game it is. You just got to make sure we're on point, because if we're not cohesive, we're not on the same point, it looks pretty bad. Because at the end of the day, we kind of control the game more than anything. We can make the game a nice, smooth game, or we can make the game look a little ugly. So we have to stay in sync, pretty much. I'll be mindful, you might get a steal, who knows? You can run, all right? You can run. You can't like it, you gotta love it. Because if you like it, the game will consume you, meaning it's more mental fatigue than a body fatigue. So you could do at least recreational ball, you could do 3 games in a row, and each game is a new game. So you can have a quick game, and then the last game could be a tough game, so you have to be more prepared on each game, each play, because we don't get subs. Players get subs, we don't get subs. So we have to be sharp, we have to be mindful, we have to be fresh. Here we go. As far as my craft could take me, right here, red. At the end of the day, I have to network. I don't call it politics, I call it network and build relationships. Politics is a concept of people that really believe that they can't make it, but honestly, I think if you perfect your craft and you believe in your work and you stay humble and hungry, you're going to go as far as your ability could take you. I want to go to the NBA, you hit your knee right out.
Oh.
You know, I honestly have to make the right connections, and I have to seize the moment. So right place, right time, but you have to seize the moment. A lot of guys try to make excuses, but not I. White four.
The mind of a basketball official. During just about any athletic contest, you'll hear coaches, players, and fans scream at referees for making unacceptable calls, unacceptable for their teams perhaps. As we just saw in the video, on the basketball court, the referee is the judge, and his decisions may determine who wins or who loses the game. Joining me in the studio are three men I guess we should be addressing as Your Honor, working high school referees. Donovan Hunt. Donovan's been at it over 20 years, right?
26 years, Mike.
And he videotapes a lot of games. You can see on our other channel.
That's right, yeah. I videotape for BCAT Saturday mornings, 10 o'clock, Channel 2, Saturday mornings, every Saturday.
All right, cool. And also, we welcome Wayne Lassane. Wayne's been refereeing over, what, 25 years now?
20 years.
20 years now?
Yeah.
And we can call him a young and upstart. Also, college official Lamar Parker. Great to have you gentlemen here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
First thing I want to know, how do you all arrive at becoming referees? Jump in.
Well, I was finishing up playing basketball as a career.
And where did you play high school and where did you play college basketball?
I attended Archbishop Malloy in Queens, and I attended University of Cal Irvine in Southern California. And then I played a little semi-pro for the Long Island Surf for a few years. And
as a USBL?
Yes,
okay.
USBL, exactly. And it was just time to move on and do something else with myself. And my dad was trying to get me to ref for about 2 years. One day I just decided to do it, made about $200 in cash, and put the sneakers down and picked up the whistle.
Basically, that's it. I started to supplement my income, but it was for the love of the game. I played also in high school, college. I played for Thomas Jefferson High School, and then I played at Staten Island Community, and I finished up at Brooklyn College when I graduated in '75. But yeah, I just wanted to. I started out coaching. Got tired of coaching because you got to be the mother, father, sister, brother, everything. I moved on to officiating just to stay connected with the game for the love of the game.
Yeah, well, same here. My playing resume isn't as elaborate as these gentlemen here. But I was the last one cut from the University of Illinois tryouts. Well, that's because I actually missed the last day, and I had to go back on the next day, okay? But no, I was actually with a friend, and his son was playing CYO basketball, and I was watching the game, and I was actually paying attention to the referees, actually, and I was watching to see what they were doing. And I was saying, you know what, I can do that. And not for nothing, I wanted to do it, in an official capacity, not just, like a Foot Locker kind of guy, with the shirt. I want to get certified. So I asked one of the officials who happened to be the interpreter for the Brooklyn board, Gene Ryan, and he said, "You're talking to the right person." So sure enough, I hooked up with Gene, and he told me when the class was. Every year, IABO has a class, and that's the certifying organization. Let me get it right now. It's the acronym for International Athletic Approved Basketball Officials, right?
Or
yeah,
I am a blind official.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but that's the national certifying body for officials.
All right, cool. I want to talk also how much the game has changed. Especially, I'm going to go over 3 levels or 4 levels of basketball. First, I'm going to go over the street game. How's that game changed? How hazardous is it? Is it hazard to ref? Is there some good places to ref? Are there some bad places to ref games? Are there some places also that you would never ref again?
Well, let me start with that one because I do a lot of recreational officiating. I officiate in Wayne's tournament. Actually, Wayne has a tournament right down there in Park in Washington that he runs in conjunction with the Knicks. I do Catholic youth leagues and men's leagues and things of that sort. In a nutshell, it hasn't changed, right? Basketball is like the culture of, I should say, it encapsulates the culture of the time. So in other words, if right now we're into sort of a hip hop kind of thing, well, guess what? That's what the players are into. You know, the swagger, the whole nine. You know, from an approach point of view, again, if it's like the me kind of thing in the culture, guess what? It's kind of the me kind of thing in basketball too. That's why they talk so much about ISO and so forth.
So it reflects.
It reflects it, yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Also, for you guys, the street game?
For me, it probably similar to Donovan. It's more of a cultural thing.
I'm going to go over certain leagues here in Brooklyn. You have Dean Street. You have Soul in the Hole, and also in the Bronx, you got Dykeman, you got Rucker, right? Some of those leagues.
Well, you know, I think those leagues are great leagues when you're starting off because you get to learn how, as a referee, the stuff that has nothing to do with basketball, the game management, the clock, the relationships you have with the coaches for that period of time, talking with them. Those things are important as a referee as you go higher. Once you get to a certain level, you know, you kind of pick and choose what you want to do because you don't necessarily want to deal with irate coaches who know nothing about the game or who know little about the game.
Or irate leagues. There's some leagues out there you definitely have to stay away from. I mean, I don't do that many leagues because I run leagues myself, but I know how I want the environment set, basketball environment set. And in my particular league, I mean, I lock down everything. You know, the fans are away.
I noticed when we were out there.
Yeah, I keep the fans away because they can heckle and get on referees, and it takes away from the game.
What are some of let's say the wildest game you ever coached, the funniest game you ever coached, and the worst game you ever ref? Let's go. Worst game.
I think early in my career,
as
a referee, I was working in Nike Pro City, which is probably the biggest pro tournament, and probably my first summer, and they're playing and they're going back and forth, and I see something, and I actually sneeze because I see something. I start go, and the whistle blows, and the players kept playing. The only people that heard me was some fan behind there that said, "You blew your whistle." And I kept saying, "No, please don't look at me." But I did blow my whistle, which, you know, at this point I probably should have stopped the game. But it just was one of those things as a young official, you're embarrassed by. But it's something that I learned from, and it helped me as I continue to go on in the game.
Yeah, I know in high school, early in my career, I had boys and girls high school against Robeson, and they're vying for the best in the city, and the game goes in, great game goes into overtime. I'm enjoying it. Great game. Game goes into overtime. I'm the referee. I set up the overtime. I put 5 minutes up on the clock when it should have actually been 4. These kids were playing so well, I'm thinking I'm doing a college game, and these kids are college players. College is 5, high school is 4. So I got caught up in the moment, but it was a great game. And those are the games you want to officiate because the games really referee themselves. The players go there and they play, the coaches coach. You know, you basically just have to manage the game.
Doc?
Well, I guess the one game that stands out out of the many years, I had a high school game in Staten Island, and it was a really hot game between 2 rival schools, and that was my first time doing varsity basketball.
PSAL?
PSAL in Staten Island, because it was a Friday night game. And I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, okay? Now, Friday nights, that's football time, okay, down south. I didn't realize that PSAL actually had stuff going on the evenings, but they do in Staten Island. Anyway, make a long story short, two rival schools playing. It was a 1-point game. My partner makes a call right at the end of the game, which decided the game. And this was after he had told me prior to the game, and all deference to Lamar, who's an excellent official too, by the way. He's one of our standout officials. But this particular guy introduced himself and told me that he was a college official. Now that scared me, right? Because usually when someone introduces themselves like that, it's like, they're putting themselves on a plateau.
So he's like,
right?
I'm checking you out, checking out how.
Well, he's telling me, that
Right.
he's this and that.
Right.
And meanwhile, we're here. We're not there.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And so, and also in college, they have 3 officials, right? Normally.
High school too.
High schools too, right? Which is what I love about the high school game, because I love, the responsibility of that. Anyway, it comes down to the last play of the game. He makes the call against one of the teams. That's one of those escort calls that we call them.
What's an escort call?
An escort call is when you have to be escorted out of the gym, because things got really hot that night in Staten Island. I'll tell you, I was written up in Staten Island Advance the next day.
It was one of the nights they laid old Dixie down.
Oh my goodness, it was rough.
Let's talk about, there was a time when a black man could not ref basketball, as far as at the high school level, at the collegiate level, at the NBA level. Maybe it was just street basketball, but there was a time, right?
Yeah, sure, yeah. Well, old Jim Crow, existed in all facets of life and sports as well, Mike. But not for nothing. I mean, we always made up for it. We always had our own community of things, and it happened that way in basketball too, as a matter of fact. Back in the day, back in the 60s, and during the poverty program days, there was a lot of money given out for cultural things, and one of the things was for sports, right? And some gentlemen who were situated basically like out of St. John's Rec Center and so forth, started something called Sports Unlimited, right? Which morphed into something which is existing now called SABOA, right? And SABOA is in all 5 boroughs now, okay? Well, actually, I don't think it's in Staten Island, right?
Okay.
But that's the rock, where the waterway cuts off a lot of things. Yeah. But anyway, SABOA, which was the Sports Unlimited Basketball Officials Association, was started, and Lester Roberts, Buddy Keaton, all those guys back in the day, and it exists to this day.
Technology. How's technology? You're at the collegiate level.
Technology can either make you look great or make you look like last night's meatloaf. I mean, we've all seen those calls on ESPN where it's in re-reel, and the ref is just standing there looking directly at the play. And things happen, you're human, but it helps you by, if you use the technology and view games before, view players' tendencies before the game, and then also go back after and see what areas you could have improved upon and what areas you need to keep at that level. It can really help you if used properly. And that's during the game, it can help save a game.
At the NBA level, I know you guys see some of these. I mean, I've seen some of the players carry luggage. I mean, it got to the point where they're just traveling, man. I mean, they're carrying the ball like they're carrying a football. I mean, there's no travel. I mean, what's going on with that?
Well,
I mean, those plays, the NBA is a great game, and it's a game of entertainment, and certain calls are what they call game interrupters. You don't want to have a travel with a guy that dunked on 5 players, and now you have to blow your whistle and stop the game. And you want the fans to feel that excitement and let the play continue. And the electricity of the game is good. Listen, no one wants to see you on ESPN blowing a whistle instead of the dunk.
Now, in high school and college, you won't see that. High school and college, you're trained to make that call.
Now, I also see you guys have to deal with a lot of these coaches. The coaches are basically always in your ear, right, during games?
Sure.
What are some of these things the coaches may say to you? I mean, if you can say it.
Well, coaches are salesmen. I mean, they're not just coaches. They feel that their job is also to sway the refs over to their type of game. If they want a more physical game, then obviously they're going to want, hey, come on, we're men out here. If they don't want a physical game, come on, let them play, whatever, But no, they're trained to. Be in our ear.
Real quick, conditioning, because the players are so big today, so much quicker. You guys have to be in shape.
Yeah, it's very important. I think Lamar hit on it earlier where he mentioned about being physically fit, that these kids, no, as a matter of fact, it was the referee in the film, he said that he doesn't get a substitute. These kids get substitute in and out of the game. The minute they get tired, coach yanks them. We out there, we're standing. we don't get a chance to sit.
Coach, time out. We're out of time. This game is over. Thanks for coming, really. It was a pleasure. I'd really like to continue this conversation another time.
Thanks for having us. It's been a pleasure.